Ready? I'd like to welcome everybody. My name's Ron. I'm an alcoholic. How you guys all doing? We have a little treat tonight. Adam and Kate are going to be getting married next Saturday, so they ain't going to be with us. So they're actually going to chair tonight. So it's kind of like a double event. So Adam's going to come up here and take over and enjoy tonight.
Hello everyone, welcome to the Conscious Contact Speaker Group of Alcoholics Anonymous. My name is Adam and I am an alcoholic. This is a 1-hour speaker meeting that meets every Saturday evening at St. Paul's Lutheran Church, 301 North Main Street at 8:30 p.m. in Doylestown, PA. The purpose of the group is to provide a consistent message of hope and recovery through God reliance and service to others through the practice and teaching of the 12 steps. We record all speakers so that others may benefit from their message of recovery. If you wish not to be recorded, simply ask. This is an open meeting of Alcoholics Anonymous. The group would like to welcome everyone, especially newcomers. Is there anyone new or from out of town that would like to introduce themselves with their first name? Welcome.
Part of the alcoholic addict, I'm visiting from out of town.
Welcome. 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 Sarah, welcome.
My name is Lydia. I'm an alcoholic.
Lydia, welcome. Welcome. The Conscious Contact Speaker Group encourages sponsorship. Would anyone with working knowledge of the 12 steps and who is willing to sponsor, please raise your hand. Are there any announcements for the good of AA? We have meeting lists and big books on easy terms. Please see me or any home group member after the meeting. If you cannot afford a big book, the Conscious Contact Speaker Group will give you one at no charge. Anyone willing to make donations for the purchase of big books and CDs to help those who can't afford them can put donations in the jar on the table marked Big Book and CD donations. If you would like a CD of any speaker past or present, see me or Ron before or after the meeting. They are available free of charge. And I have asked Anthony to read the preamble.
How's it going? I'm Anthony. I'm an alcoholic. Alcoholics Anonymous is a fellowship of men and women who share their experience, strength, and hope with each other that they may solve their common problem and help others recover from alcoholism. The only requirement for membership is a desire to stop drinking. There are no dues or fees for AA membership. We are self-supporting through our own contributions. AA is not allied with any sect, denomination, politics, organization, or institution, does not wish to engage in any controversy, neither endorses nor opposes any causes. Our primary purpose is to stay sober and to help other alcoholics to achieve sobriety. And Kate is going to come up and read the 12 steps of recovery.
Hi, I'm Kate. I'm an alcoholic. One, we admitted we were powerless over alcohol and that our lives had become unmanageable. 2, came to believe that a power greater than ourselves could restore us to sanity. 3, made a decision to turn our will and our lives over to the care of God as we understood Him. 4, made a searching and fearless moral inventory of ourselves. 5, admitted to God, to ourselves, and to another human being the exact nature of our wrongs. 6, we're entirely ready to have God remove all these defects of character. 7, humbly asked Him to remove our shortcomings. 8, made a list of all persons we had harmed and became willing to make amends to them all. 9, made direct amends to such people wherever possible except when to do so would injure them or others. 10, continued to take personal inventory and when we were wrong, promptly admitted it. 11, sought through prayer and meditation to improve our conscious contact with God as we understood Him, praying only for knowledge of His will for us and the power to carry that out. 12, having had a spiritual awakening as the result of these steps, we tried to carry this message to alcoholics and to practice these principles in all our affairs.
Thanks, Kate.
The 7th tradition, every AA group ought to be fully self-supporting, declining outside contributions. At this time, I would like to pass the basket. We have no dues or fees, but we have expenses: coffee, cream, donuts, rent, big books, and CDs. And There is absolutely no smoking on church property. And please silence all cell phones and limit movement during the meeting to avoid distractions. Now I would like to introduce a good friend of the Conscious Contact Speaker Group, Tim H. from the Knuckleheads Group in Boston, Massachusetts.
Hi, I'm an alcoholic. My name is Tim. For the life of me, I still can't understand why anyone wants to hear anything I got to say. It's still not used to being invited places, you know? Like when I first came in AA, it was like, who's going to invite Tim? Nobody. Nobody wanted me around. I was that guy, you know? And it's funny, for a long time sober, I was still that guy, you know? Just don't drink and suffer, you know? Like, oh yeah, that's great. That's an awesome plan, you know? What could go wrong there, you know? Just untreated alcoholism, raw nerve, full of rage. Have a nice day. Give me the keys, you know? I should let you guys know I am a real alcoholic, and I don't say that like I'm a real tough guy. Like, it's so funny in Boston, like all these crime logs, you know, like someone, this guy, oh yeah, I did real state time. It's just like, you were in the drunk tank, shh, you know? And like, I don't know where it got cool to have like an impressive arrest record. You know, I'm like, you know, when I was a kid, that made you an asshole. Excuse me, I'm sorry. What did I make it, 3 minutes? I'm trying, I swear to God, I'm trying so hard. I'm gonna stutter a lot, and that's me filtering, okay? This is taxpayer country. I'm not in the bricks anymore, so I got to polish this up a little bit. I am a real alcoholic, and I'm a real vulgarian too. They are mutually exclusive. You don't have to be. You don't have to be vulgar, or you don't have to be a tough guy, and you don't have to be a convict. You don't have to be any of these things to make you an alcoholic, and that's good to know, because the word alcoholic, it has a definition. Words mean things. You know, and for years, when I first got sober in 1990, you know, you'd hear people say, oh, well, you know, I ate a fistful, you know, I ate 3 boxes of chocolates because I'm an alcoholic. No, you did that because you're a fat body. There's a difference. That's not what makes you an alcoholic. That's another thing. There's another meaning for that if you like, but that's not alcoholism. All right? It's important to know these things. Because what makes me an alcoholic is the fact that when I drink, there's no telling when I'm going to stop. I have no power. I have no control over when I'm going to stop. And if I should become stopped, or if I should become sober, there's no power on this earth. Literally no power on this earth. No sponsor, no rehab, no detox, no prison that can keep me from getting where I need to go. You know, these are the things that make me an alcoholic. There's no telling how much I'm going to drink before I stop, and there's no telling how long I'm going to stay stopped if I should become stopped. And that's good to know, because that's really all it is. A lot of people come in and want to put all sorts of meanings on it that it doesn't have, and it's mistaken, and it's getting a lot of people hurt, because some people that may not necessarily need this. You know, our book describes in graphic detail the problem drinker, the distinction between the problem drinker from the alcoholic. You know, I'm not a problem drinker, I'm an alcoholic. I'm a problem sober. I don't know how to be sober. You know, in Boston they say that, you know, sober's better. And I'm like, I beg to differ. Not my experience. Funny you should mention that. Sober's not better. Me without a drink on my own steam is a living hell. That's a nightmare. I don't drink because I'm thirsty, case in point. All right? I don't drink because I'm thirsty. I drink because I'm untreated. I drink because when I am sober, I get with you people, and I look you guys in the eyes, and I hear your voices, and I see your smiles, and I panic. I don't want the crap on my watch. I want to hide. Tonight, Like just now I had to go and hide, you know? Like I'm still kind of there, you know? But I don't have to die there. I don't have to live there. I acknowledge it today, you know? I can take care of myself. I've done a 4th step. I've read a 5th step. I've made amends. My sponsor knows me. I know me. To thine own self be true. All these bumper stickers, all these little blue banners with the gold trim, they all mean something. That's not the recovery. Those are results of recovery. You know, meetings are not recovery. The big book, the Fellowship of Alcoholics Anonymous, was named for the book. How many people that are friends of mine that think, oh, you know, I'm having a bad day, I better get to a meeting so you can reach out to a new guy and maybe get out of your own head? Good idea. No, I just got to go to a meeting. It's like an inoculation. Like, it doesn't work like that, dude. That is not it. I'm putting the cart before the horse. I should qualify. I am from a town north of Boston where I was born called Lowell. And Lowell's on the Merrimack River. And it's an old mill town. And it was the start of the Industrial Revolution. The Merrimack River goes really, really fast within the borders of the city of Lowell. And it was awesome back in the 1800s for textiles. And that's where I grew up. And I was born in '67. I just turned 50 years old. And it's funny, in the 70s, I remember one day in particular, I'll just give you a quick insight into what was going on between my ears. Climbing up to the top of Fort Hill Park with my friends Bob and Scott. Got a 6-pack of stolen beer from my brother. We're each going to split it. It's Bud Tall boys, so at 80 pounds, that ought to do me in nicely. We get up to the top of Fort Hill Park, but on the way, I remember climbing it, and I'm wearing these corduroys, and it was like 80 degrees at like 8 o'clock in the morning, and I'm sweating profusely, and I'm feeling this sweat running down my neck, through the center of my back, and down my butt, and then, you know, like down my leg a little bit, and I'm just like, ugh, you know, and I'm like, why did I wear corduroys? It's because it's the 70s, and that's what we wear. And it's like, it was, you know, we didn't have a choice, it was compulsory. So we get, you know, we're climbing the top of this hill, and it's like all woods and stuff, and I'm like, I know there's gonna be ticks, you know, and it's like, oh, I hate ticks. And this is before Lyme disease. I just like the idea of a tick, like just sucking on you, like, Dad, I can't do it, you know. So I'm like skeeved out about ticks, and I'm like feeling that sweat, the sweat Mississippi going down my back, and I got Bob and I got Scott, and Bob's a big D-bag. I don't like him very much. And then his little brother Scott, who is like junior D-bag, and he's a real close runner-up. And why am I hanging with him? Because they're the only people who picked up the phone. So I'm climbing this miserable hill with these two miserable dudes with a miserable stream down around my back, looking over the skyline of this miserable town. And I'm 13 years old. I've yet to hold gainful employment. I've never paid a tax. I mean, what could I really be whining about? But I was. You know, I'm the glass half empty guy. You know, ask me what's wrong. I'll tell you. I already know. You know, and that was just, I don't know what, I don't know if that has anything to do with alcoholism, but that has something to do with why alcohol felt so good. Because that racket was going on. That racket was constant. And you guys know the story. And Dave, I feel bad looking at my buddy Dave Malloy, who drove in to hear me speak. I'm really glad. It's always nice to see a friendly face. Hey, Dave has heard this before. Dude, you want to go get a coffee or, you know, go rip a butt somewhere, you go ahead. You know, you've heard all this before. But, so the frog in the pot, right? You put a frog in a pot of water, right? Just a regular pot of tap water. And then you take the pot, you put it on the stove, and you turn up the burner. As the water starts getting warm, the frog just swimming around doing frog stuff, you know, as they do, you know, and the water's getting warmer and warmer, and then little bubbles start, and then it was like, all of a sudden the frog's like, I smell frog stew, you know, like he doesn't even realize. It's not until you take that frog out of that water that he realizes how much heat he was in, and probably going to shock. But that's not the point of the story. The point of the story is that I had no idea how miserable I was. I had no idea how ill-adjusted to life on life's terms I really was. my constant inability, my constant refusal to accept what life was. You're 13 years old, you got acne, you can't dance, freaking, you're never gonna get laid. It's just, welcome to life, you know? And I was like, no! You know, I got a better plan. Like, God, move over. Let me show you how to do this. Like, really? You know, this is before I ever had a drink. So that's about to change. So we get to the top of Foothill Park. We get to Indian Rock. There were no Indians on it. I don't know why they call it that, but they call it that. So we get to Indian Rock, and we crack open these beers, which were skunked because some clown hit them on the roof of the porch in August. I didn't know, you know? So I learned, but I didn't know then. So we open up these beers, we start drinking, and the first beer was wretched. I almost yacked. It was like, oh my God, that's horrible. Like Bud, you know, already. And then you cook it on the roof of a porch in 1978. You know, it's just like, oh yeah, the king of beers, you know. So I open up the king, and then nothing happened the first one, but I opened the second one, and as if that wasn't a warning sign. Have I ever eaten or drank anything that made me want to retch that I opened a second one in my life? No. Halfway through that second one, I don't know, it snuck up on me. It snuck up on me like Al-Qaeda. Like, wow, where did you come from? And it's just this came over me. And I didn't, you know, you hear some guys say, I remember my first drink, I was 8 feet tall and I was the best looking guy. No, not my experience. I was still 5'6", I was still 80 pounds, I still looked like a large pepperoni pizza, and I still couldn't dance, but I was totally fine with that. Totally fine with that. That was A-OK. And looking out over the bucolic vista that is Lowell, the majesty of history, you know, like this is our hometown, fellas. Like this is, you know, like we won the Civil War. You know, we outfitted the Union Army here. Like just nothing changed. Nothing changed. I was still there. I was still me. Everything still was, but everything was different. And I really do suspect that Bob and Scott did not have that experience that night, that day. I really do, because I've never seen them in one of these rooms, right? And they never came back out with me again, you know? Which I was really cool with, because next time I had no intention of sharing my beer, you know? Because now all of a sudden, as soon as I had that second one, what dawned on me, as soon as I felt that feeling, the one interruption I had to that bliss was, oh my God, we're gonna run out. This feeling might stop. You know, talk about hedging my buzz. Holy moly. Like, what am I gonna, I'm gonna find more. You know, like, automatically, like I knew. I don't know how I knew, but I knew. I gotta feel this way more. I gotta feel this way all the time. Who wouldn't, I mean, listen to me asking, who wouldn't want to feel that? Yeah, unanimous, you know. Yes, we will, you know. Like, but, I mean, how could you not? To people who aren't us, I wonder, how could you not want to feel this all the time? Isn't it wonderful? That ease and comfort, that peace and quiet, that just adjusted. You know, and that's what I discovered. Like this old guy from Connecticut, God rest his soul, Sandy B. He's like, alcohol was the magic ingredient. It was the secret ingredient to life. And that was, yes. Yeah, I gotta get back to Fort Hill Park, man. You know, and that set the tone for the rest of my life. I gotta get back to Fort Hill Park. I gotta find that relief, which is what I'm doing here tonight, by the way. This is the relief that I feel now. You know, before, like when I was walking around just like, God, can we get this over with, please? You know, that was horrible. I hate that feeling. But this feeling, like being able to be helpful, it blows me away. It blows me away. Like I can actually make a difference. I might be good at something. Like, really? Yeah, I'm never good at anything. Again, I'm getting ahead of myself. I got out of that, I got from Fort Hill Park. I made that my mission in life. I found alcohol, I secured alcohol, I hid alcohol, I made sure I didn't run out. Because that was always, you don't run out. Amateurs run out. Amateurs get caught. If you get caught, that endangers your supply. If you get grounded, you can't get booze. Bad. Very bad. Unacceptable. Unprofessional. Okay? It was like, I could never understand. I was never a party boy. I was never like, woo! No, shut up! You're gonna get us bagged! You know, because we gotta keep drinking, stupid. Would you shut up? Frickin' amateur, you know? Like, jeez, what's the matter with you clowns? Like, we go to a frat party, woo! Like, ping pong balls. What do you want to put in a ping pong ball? You don't know where that ping pong ball's been. That's in your beer, you freaking savage. What's the matter with you? And quarters, never mind quarters. I've seen where quarters go. Yeah, that's not going in my drink. I've been overseas. I know what happens to spare change. No. So, I mean, it wasn't like I was just like the wild man about town. I drank with purpose. This was my medication. I knew it. I knew it from that day on Fort Hill Park. This is what made life livable. You don't jeopardize that. You don't miss work. I don't care how sick, how bad, how big you throw up in your pocket, but you don't miss work. And then back to work. You know? And because this was serious business, this is life or death. This was life or death to me. Because the thought of living life without alcohol was unbearable. Unbearable. I joined the Marine Corps out of high school. As you can imagine, my priorities took a massive shift after that day in August, and all of a sudden your grades, like they were a huge priority in the first place, they fell right off the boards. So it was like D's across the board, just report card, just and my father was like, what? You know, we never wrote scholar to me, but what the, you know, come on, kid, throw me a bone. It's D. Come on, your mother wants to hang you, you know. And I'm like, oh, Dad, you know. So I got out of high school. I joined the Marines, you know, with D for diploma. You know, off you go. Get this mongoloid out of here, you know. And they threw me out. I mean, they graduated me, and I joined the Marines. And it's funny, it's like, there's a shrub outside that door that would take the general aptitude exam, the ASVAB exam to the United States military, that would take that and pass it with an 80 tonight, okay? I had to take it 3 times. I mean it, Harvard was not beating down my door. I finally got into the Marines. Yay, Tim. And I got down to Paris Island, and it was just awful. I mean, people yelling and screaming for no reason. It's like somebody needs a nap, you know, like, jeez. What's with the hats, guys? I mean, these you know, the sewer cover hats, like, just they're so unreasonable, you know? And, you know, they were always saying this stuff in this magic language, you know, that this drill instructor language that I'd never understood. I finally got the hang of it when it was just too late, but I got out of there with D's, you know, because I just wasn't the go along to get along guy, you know. I didn't take to the military naturally. I liked questions, and they don't like questions. They really don't, do they? No, not one little bit. Like, excuse me, you know, and they just like, you get 2 in each ear and then 1 in your face. They call it a wolf pack. It's so much fun. And you're just sitting there like, I think I just beat my pants, you know? And it's just like, this is awful. I volunteered for this, you know? And the only reason I graduated, because I got some serious follow-through issues, the only reason I graduated is because that was the easiest way off that bloody island. You want to psych out, if you want to like say, I want to marry my bunk, like, oh, okay, go pile. Off you go, into the cuckoo bin, and you're going to spend 6 years down here before we let you out, because it was designed that way. It's like, oh, if you want to psych out, it's going to be punitive, and you're going to be here twice as long as you would if you just did what you were told. So that was kind of their incentive, to do what you were told. And it worked, because I did. For the first time in my life, I just did what I was told, and they taught me to shut up. There was an F in the middle of that, but they, because I'm speaking to taxpayers tonight. So, anyway, the Marines were also founded in a tavern, Ton Tavern, Philadelphia, PA, and I thought that was nifty as hell. I was like, oh yeah, this is definitely my branch, and the Marines definitely do like to drink, and whatever I was doing, they didn't like. And they were like, yeah, we like to drink, we don't know what you're doing, you can't drink with us anymore. I wanted to cry, and they sent me to Spin Dry, and they were like, well, you don't have to go to Spin Dry, you could go to the Brig. I was like, well, Spin Dry sounds all right then, doesn't it? Because there's no drinking in the Brig either. But, Spin Dry is only a month, so I can pull a head fake to that long, because how many of us came in here to save our hide and then mistakenly discovered there was a soul attached, And so I got in there and the detox, that like, it was so weird, like to have gunnery sergeants, like, oh, we're going to talk about your inner child. Like, seriously, Gunny? Like, no, really, come on, man. It's just us in here. You don't talk about my inner child. Who? What? Is it a boy? I don't know. Like, what inner child? What are you talking about? Like this postmodern psycho babble garbage. And I'm like, oh, this is lovely. I love shrinks. They're so much fun. They're so much fun because they're so serious and they take their little degrees so seriously. I got more degrees than a thermometer, and I'm still gonna BS you till your eyes turn brown. Watch this, because shrinks are only good if the guy that's shrinking is telling the truth. I got a big problem with telling the truth, especially about me. Like that's not gonna happen. So me spending time with a shrink is like me spending time with my fairy freaking godmother. It's not. It's a waste of time. It sounds fun, I guess, but. So these well-intentioned psychiatric professionals are spinning their wheels, and I got them completely buffaloed. And I keep moving this podium. I think I'm messing up the sound. Okay. So anyway, Spin Dry. They send us to these AA meetings out in Jacksonville, North Carolina, where I was stationed, and that was, oh man, did I have some fun at you guys' expense. Ooh. AA meetings, you go to some of these AA meetings around, it's like, woo, it's like one flew over a cuckoo's nest, Go to AA meeting in Jacksonville, North Carolina. You hear banjo music, I swear to God, And it's like, oh, wow. And I'm like, it's deliverance, look at this, And I'm just all the things I'm not allowed to say, that's what I am, I'm that guy, all those 4-letter words, that's me. I'm just such a punk. I'm making fun of everything. Sarcasm, what do they call sarcasm? The idiot's wit, or the lazy man's wit, something like that. Sarcasm was my favorite weapon. And I'd just come at it with sarcasm and cynicism, and I'd mock and ridicule and make fun. And man, with that southern accent, it was just so easy. Because, I don't have an accent at all. I was so arrogant. I was so arrogant. I'm amazed I have my teeth. I get in this meeting and there's some really well-intentioned people there. And they said, boy, you want to get sober, you better get honest. I was like, excuse me? And then they explained it, and I was like, oh, okay, I'll get honest. Yeah, okay, yeah, all right. Shoplifted from that store over there while I was hammered, and I went over there and I peed in the guard shack over at the main gate because I was hammered. And, so I'm getting honest, I guess. That's what we got to do, and it's like I wrote a bunch of bad checks to the PX, like they wouldn't get wise to it. The PX is the post exchange, like it's my bosses run it, and I'm bouncing checks to them like it's a ping pong game, But, so I got honest with some things, and they were just like, yeah, there's more to it than that. I'm like what? And they're like, you'll see. I'm like, woo. It's mystical. Woo. I was raised Catholic. I'm good to woo. You know, I was like, okay, yeah, all right, fine. So it's a mystery. It's you don't quit before the miracle happens. I'm like, ooh, miracles, neato, torpedo. What kind of miracle? You know, water into wine. I thought we weren't supposed to do that. You know. And then they're just like mystical little things and these little kitschy phrases, but nothing to back them up and no explanation. And when you ask them, they got these really evasive, nifty answers that aren't answers at all. I mean, like, wow, these guys ought to run for office, you know? And I'm like, well, okay, so AA is a real good time. I like it. I get to make fun of people and I got the Marine Corps off my back, so that's a win-win. And now I get like 6 months, and I'm like, all right, cool, you know. And I got my 6-month little red chip. Maybe they were red back then, I don't know. But I got my little 6-month chip, and I hear this guy says, I don't give that boy another month. And I was like, oh yeah, Papa? I will bury you from my seat in the front row, because resentments can keep you sober. Insane, stark raving sober. Yeah. I stayed sober on resentment. I stayed sober on spite. I stayed sober on arrogance. I was, you know, when I remember when I got my first year. Wow, that was a big deal. I got my brass cookie, you know, my little Roman numeral I, you know, how appropriate, you know, because that's all I was thinking about was me, I. You know, I got my eye, and I'm all better, right? I got my brass cookie. I'm good. I'm like, I'm healed. You know, yes. You know, and all right. So now I'm relapse proof. Thanks, fellas. And my sponsors. I remember I'd see my sponsor like once every other couple of weeks. You know, I'd just bump into him at random. He'd be like, "What step you on?" I'm like, 3. Seemed like a good answer as any. He was like, "All right then." And he was. And I'm like, this is so bullshit. I'm editing. It's so hard. So like I mean, this was AA, because they believed that the meeting makers make it. That making the meeting made you sober. They believed that some magic osmosis happened in these rooms. Like, this is at least a nice one. You know, the ones down there, not so nice. You know, like there's magic in this place because it leaks. And I saw a cockroach with a saddle on it. So, could we get the magic to get rid of the vermin, for crying out loud? There's a rat out there trying to steal my car. So I'm waiting for the woo to wear off on me, because I'm watching people get better with the woo business and the slogans. And they said, hey, if your ass falls off, bring it to a meeting. Put it in a wheelbarrow and bring it to a meeting. And I'm like, so we got ass repair kits here. All right. And I remember another kid went in there. We started talking about weed, and he started talking about blow. And the AA accelerant, you know? And I remember this big old Bubba. I mean, like this guy, I mean, they were big on keychains. They like keychains a lot. And this one dude had a keychain with a coffee mug on it. I swear to God. And I'm like, you can't make this up, you know? And he's walking around, and his jeans are hanging down half past the crack, you know? Before it became cool, you know? And this guy just jumps up and jumps down this guy's throat. This is Alcoholics Anonymous. We don't talk about that in here. And I'm like, whoa, easy, Bubba. You're gonna, like, you know, the meatball sub in your artery is gonna clog something. So he's, you know, he's pretty. He's like, okay, this is our watchdog for AA, for the AA integrity. And then he will proceed to whine and go on a profanity-laced tirade about his ex-wife and her mother, and how she got her just the vomitorium, you know, because, and this is another thing I heard, any problem you share gets cut in half. Ooh, right? So I guess this is Hallmark AA, all right? So we got bumper stickers, we got slogans, we got little blue banners, and we got gitchy little magical sayings that no one has to back up, and they can give you mystical answers. And they can look at you like, you'll find out. You know? They're lying. They were lying. It's like going to the gym and seeing that guy who's like wicked yoked up. I mean, like just jacked. I'm like, dude, how'd you get that big? He goes, pasta. I'm like, pasta's awesome. I gotta get some pasta. I gotta do, where's this pasta? Did you get it at Anchovies on Columbus Ave? I'll go to Anchovies right now. I want that pasta. You see that guy? I want what that guy got. I want to be a big shot. I wanted so bad to be a big shot. Mind you, notice the words. I didn't want to come here and help. I didn't want to come here and be of service. I didn't want to come here and make anyone's life any better. I didn't want to come here and do anything. I was a greedy, selfish, disgusting little fellow. And just talking about it now makes me want to cry. I'm so embarrassed at what a scumbag I was, sober, without a drink. I got my 1-year cookie. I got my 5-year cookie. I was suicidal. I'm out of the Marine Corps. I'm working for the city of Boston. And to those of you who saw me, like, that guy looks like a cop, good eye. Yeah, I got a job with the city of Boston. I'm a cop. And I had this job for a couple of years, and I'm like, okay, so I got the outside of the trash can painted up nice. I got a new car. I got a really fly pad, a really nice apartment over in the south end of Boston, which is a very desirable neighborhood. And I'm here and I'm there, and I got this and I got that, and my dance card is, you know, stacked. I'm okay. I'm never alone. You know, I'm doing great. I got all the stuff that when I first came here I thought I needed. If you asked me when I first came to AA, what do you need? I'm like, a check for $5,000. That ought to cover it. That would have been it. Like if God himself came down and said, okay, Timmy, what'll it be? You know, like a waiter. You know, my celestial ATM machine. You know, because how many times did we want to use God like that? Like, I want a puppy, I want a pony, I want a plastic rocket, and I want you to kill her. And then, you know, it's just like, that ain't how God works, man. That ain't how it works. I thought it did for the longest time. You know, I thought you could, and I remember Jim Morrison, you cannot petition the Lord with prayer. Awesome, Jim Morrison. There's a lot of good drugs at work on that, man. But, I thought you could, and I was praying for all the wrong stuff in all the wrong ways, because I was praying to look out for me, look out for me, look out for me. And why is everything always coming against me? Why is it always me? Why is it always me? Woe is me, woe is me. And it's like, because you don't think about anyone but yourself, you scumbag, you POS. I had no idea. I wasted so much time. From 1990. Well, actually 91. I went out for a relapse after my dad passed away. So from May 1991 to January 2006, I didn't have a drop of alcohol. And in that period, I contemplated suicide almost every single day. Almost every single day. And the only thing that didn't let me do it was the religion that I was raised in had me believing full well and completely that if you did that, you're going to hell. And if you think this place sucks, so don't do that. Check. Mark that box. Okay. Wait your turn. You know, I was 28 years old. I work for the city of Boston. I make a decent living. I'm healthy. I got 2 working arms, 2 working legs, 10 and 10, a reasonably functioning mind. Maybe not so reasonable, but you know, it's passable. And all I can think about is maybe today someone will kill me. And that's what I used to pray for at the end. That's what I used to pray. Just please let someone kill me. Because I thought maybe if my death were for something, maybe if I died, you know, stopping some horrible crime, some horrible nightmare, saving some kid, died in a fire, died in a, you know, drowning, you know, saving a kid from a sinking boat or something, I don't know what. But just let me die doing something decent, because I thought my death had to be for something, because I knew my life was worthless. sober. I'm a real alcoholic. 14 years and 8 months separated from alcohol, I had a gun pressed against my temple. I couldn't stand it anymore. And the only thing that made me pause was my roommate was my cousin. And I said, he comes home and finds my brains all over the wall, he's gonna be pissed. Really, that was it. He'd have to clean up the mess. He'd be stuck answering a bunch of stupid questions from all my freaking former colleagues who would all be making fun of me after I was dead, of course. You know, like that's how my brain works. Basket case. And then the quickest like glimmer, I don't know what made me think of it. Well, I do now, but then I had no idea. It was God saying, Timmy, have a drink. My roommate was a drinker. There was vodka in the freezer. I said, well, if I'm going to paint the walls of my brain, we might as well at least tie one on the way out. I mean, that's only reasonable. Thank God for vodka. I drank that vodka. I was like, whoa, put that thing away, man. Jeez, that could hurt somebody. I feel much better. Welcome back to Fort Hill Park, boys and girls. I feel relief. I feel ease and comfort at once. That was magic. That was miraculous and real. Not waiting for a train that never shows up. No, this happened. This was real. Thank God for vodka. But vodka did what it does, because it's a treatment for alcoholism, but it's not the right treatment. This partial treatment carried me for 10 months and brought me to where? To rock bottom. How perfect. How perfect to rock bottom. We're better to start to build something from than a rock foundation. No illusions, no big shot, no, hey, I got 14 years and big shot, clown, fraud. Thank God I lost 14 years and 8 months. Thank God I was a newcomer again. Thank God the 10th, what's today, the 6th? So in 7th, in 3 days, I get my 11-year medallion. Again, as my mother likes to say, again. I'm like, she's Irish, it's an Irish thing, you know? A little, you know, like I really like those shorts. You can hardly tell how fat your ass is. That's great. You know, it's like, nice compliment, but a little keep your right size, you know? So, thank you so much for this water. Oh my God. That's what I said. Thank you for this water. Anyway, I drank every day for 10 months. And I remember like 1 month into my relapse, I was like, okay, this little experiment's gone on long enough. Just like last time, right? Just tap the brakes, go make fun of a few rednecks, have a good time, everything will be fine. And then I tapped on my proverbial brakes, my make-believe brakes, and that pedal just swung to the floor. Like, ah! You know that old saying, when you dance with a 900-pound gorilla, you ain't done till he's done? Yeah, and it wasn't dancing either. Yeah, that's the Disney version. That's what it felt like. I'm like, oh my God, is this over yet? You know, no, it's not. You're a passenger on a torpedo. You know, you go for that one drink, just one drink. Maybe, probably not. Not if you're real, not if you're like me. 10 months it took for God's grace to recover me. It recovered me from the scrap heap of humanity. And in 10 months, I was drinking alarming quantities of vodka. Like I never stopped, like putting away unbelievable amounts of vodka and still not falling down, still not passing out. I mean, my bartender was astonished, and my sergeant wasn't quite so impressed. And I didn't know what to do, you know. And I was on my way home from work one night, and I stopped into the Tedeschi's, which is a convenience store up in Boston. And what do you guys got, Wawa down here? Yeah. See, I knew that, right? That means goose. Yeah. I read stuff. So, not just a pretty face, boys and girls. So anyway, I stop in the Tedeschi's and I see this guy who's kind of like the Archbishop of Boston AA. He's got a bright red face, and he's just out there like curing the lame and friggin', making the blind see again, and he's exhausting, He's just like, oh, that guy again, He's just, oh, we're going to a prison and we're gonna go put on a meeting here in the cemetery for dead people, and I'm like, what, dude? Just take a breath, man. You're making the rest of us look really bad. Because I'm going out with the civil service mindset, Pace yourself, So, but this guy's, I kid because I love him dearly, and he's responsible for my being alive today. He said, yeah, we're trying to find this meeting that's down here, da-da-da-da-da. Back and forth. I wind up leading him to this meeting. It occurs to me that he's probably going to try to talk me into going to this meeting because he can tell, probably by the smell, that I'm on a relapse. And I says, I'm like, okay, I got to sort out my lies. So I'm on the company bike. I'm on a company motorcycle, and I'm thinking, okay, I couldn't possibly go into a meeting dressed like this. I'm dressed to invade Poland. The boots and the big Ronald McDonald pants, and the reflector straps and the blue helmet, not a pretty sight. Junkies would be diving out the windows, it'd be awful. This is an Alston meeting, So I'm thinking all these reasons why I couldn't possibly be, it was so inappropriate for me to go to this meeting. I tell you, thank God I'm just this damaged, Because if I were any more clever, I'd be dead, So we passed the meeting, and I see Patty's headlights dip off into the meeting in the parking lot, and no honk, no wave, no thanks, Timmy, nothing. I caught a resentment. Bang. Brand new baby bouncing resentment. Right here. 5-pounder. That mother. I get my phone. Yeah. I call him up. I'm like, yeah, Pat, you get in there all right? I'm on the side of the road on a police motorcycle with the lights flashing, yelling at my friend. Yeah, you get in there, you clown? Yeah, oh, thanks. No, thanks for inviting me. Nice looking out. I thought I was responsible. I remember reading that somewhere. Anyway, have a good night, buddy. Oh, no, Timmy, geez, we were just, of course you're more than welcome. We just thought you were working, da-da-da-da-da. I'm just being such a D-bag, And so he says, of course, please come in. You're more than welcome. I'm like, oh, I'm welcome. Gee, thanks, Mr. President of AA. I'm such a... All the words, right? And I'm not allowed to say that's me. I'm being all them words. And I go into this meeting. Wow, how poetic. There is a God, and he's got a hell of a sense of humor. And he loves paradox, and he loves irony. Because there's a reason why in our 7-step prayer we say, remove every single defective character that stands in the way of my usefulness to you and my fellows. Not remove every single defective character so I can walk on water and freaking heal the lame. No. You're still got to be very, very broken. But just unbroken enough to be of use. How good is that? How perfect is that? Anyone who's in the steps now, you're not going to do it perfect. You're going to blow it out the backside hard. All right? You'll be like, oh my God, what happened? No, it's perfect. It's perfect. The steps were designed to be burned to the ground and rebuilt daily. Daily. It's a daily reprieve. So yesterday's attaboys don't keep you sober, and yesterday's foo-bars don't get you drunk. Every day is a fresh day. Every day is a fresh start. That's why I love busting the chops of the old timers. I got 48 years. And I'm like, why aren't you dead? What have you done in those 48 years other than just grow roots in that chair in the back of the room? Mean mugging the new guy walking in. what? Big deal. The chair's been here for 50 years. Boo, rookie. You know? The chair's got more sobriety than you amateur. I mean, if it's about time, but what is time? It's a measurement of movement. It's a measurement of the Earth on its axis and the orbit around the sun. A day and a year, a day and a year, a minute, a second, a heartbeat. It's a movement. And for that matter, in them first 14 years and 8 months, if time was a measurement of movement, time stood still for me. Because I brought nothing to the table of recovery but an appetite. Looking out for me. And again, God loves paradox. He loves irony. Because the more I look out for me, the less I get. Because here's the great news, the great fact for us. I suck at looking out for me. You know who's good at looking out for me? God and you guys. If I let you. If I become a part of you. I came to AA. I wasn't in it. These last, coming up, God willing, 3 days, 11 years, I've been in AA. And I've let you look after me. I've trusted you. I've made you my friends. I've made you my family. I've become well. Not all the time. You're not going to do it perfect. If you're writing your fourth step and say, oh no, it's not perfect. You're not Michelangelo. It ain't going to be perfect. Hand it in. Read it. Read it. There's someone dying to hear your story. And that's not just a figure of speech anymore. You guys racking up the body count we are up in Boston? They are dying like flies. This fentanyl, the fentanyl, I mean, they're going up for one relapse, the kid's dead. 5, 6, 7, 8 shots of Narcan, still dead. You know, someone is dying to hear your story. I'm not waiting for my turn to die anymore, because when I stood in that meeting 11 years ago, I heard a young man share his experience, strength, and most important, hope. He wasn't reading off war stories. He wasn't saying, shut up, sit down, put the cotton here and stuff it there. And no tough guy, mean mug nonsense. None of that bull. All right? This isn't the Marines. This is God's house. This is where hope lives. And hope does not discriminate. Hope doesn't care how fat, how skinny, how slow, how dark, how straight, how gay, how man, how woman. It doesn't care. Hope is yours. It's your birthright. As an alcoholic, I'm a natural born survivor. You know who else is? Sewer rats and cockroaches. I was built for something other than survival. And so were you. So were we all. We were all built to live. To live, to be aware. And that's what I pray for in the morning now. And I don't, but my God knows the prayers I'm going to say before they even pop into my own head. I say my prayers to remind me of my job. I want to be aware. I want to know. I want to see God's opportunities. I want to see the opportunities for me to be of service. Not every day. I'm not Pat. I'm not that guy with the big red face. I can't. I don't. Maybe not yet. But when I can, when I get to that feeling, when I start thinking about me and all I want and all I'm not getting and all this and all that, and I start going down that rabbit hole, I know I have something to do with that today because of these steps. Because that man in that meeting who spoke, who had a criminal record, looking at me standing there in uniform, and I walked up to him at the end of the meeting, and my voice was cracking, and my eyes were welling up. And I said, can you help me? And he was like, absolutely. When do you want to start? And I was like, right now. You know? And he did. And we did. And he brought me through the steps. That was my first night sober. I had no intention. God, there is a power greater than me. Whatever you want to call it. Call it love. Call it hope. Call it light. Call it whatever you want. It doesn't matter what you call it. Acknowledge that it's there and move on from there. That's it. As soon as I acknowledged that power was there, and it was there for me, not against me. I never had a problem with faith. I grew up in that religion, and I believed that God was out to get me. I was wrong. I was the only one out to get me. And God showed me the truth through you guys. Through you guys. Because someone took the time before me to go through these steps and wait for me to show up. Even though he had the solution, he had everything he needed to be happy. He had recovery, he had a 5th step, he had a 4th step. He did it, he made his amends, he was right with his family, he was right with the law. He didn't need to be there that night, but he was there. Why? Because the next guy's coming. Someone dying to hear his story. Me. And now, I'm here. I don't think I was dying to hear my story, but I at least hope that you guys got a laugh out of it. This is where we come to find ourselves. This is where we come to find the truth. And the truth is nowhere near as bad as you think. Don't give up. The good news is, those people that I was making fun of earlier, don't leave before the miracle. There is a miracle. There absolutely is. And you don't have to wait for it, because it's already happened. It happened in the 30s in Akron, Ohio. When Bob sat down with Bill, AA was born. And there was a lot more that went to it just before that, but that's for tonight's purposes. AA, the miracle has happened. The train is in the station. It's at the platform. It's waiting for you to step aboard. The miracle is happening now. Every time one alcoholic reaches out for free and for fun across a kitchen table and says, let's start with the forward, shall we? And then hope is transferred. What better way to cheat the devil? What better way to avenge those we lost? So many. I can't even count. I can't remember all their faces. There's so many that I loved so much, and they're all gone. No more. Not one more. Rage at everyone. Don't lay down. Don't say, what are you going to do? We're the only ones with the key to this prison. The judges have come and gone and failed. The doctors, it's their fucking fault. We're the only people, an alcoholic sufficiently armed with the facts about him or herself, sitting down with another alcoholic, showing them. Not telling. Everyone's been telling me everything all my life. My parents, my teachers, my sergeants, my commanders, everyone been telling me everything, and I always ignore them. Alcoholics Anonymous showed me. Come sit with me. We, the first word in our book, we will go through this together. I was never alone. I never felt alone. I never felt frightened. Nervous sometimes, but never frightened. That hopelessness, that despair was lifted immediately as soon as I made that decision. As soon as I knelt down and said my 3rd step prayer with my sponsor. That despair was lifted from me automatically. That's not a pink cloud. That isn't some gitchy little saying. This isn't Hallmark. And it isn't Hazelden. This is Alcoholics Anonymous. And this is where the desperate come to find hope. This is where the dead can live. We bring the message to the dying and the desperate. The judges can't do it, the cops can't do it, the doctors can't do it, no one can do it. No matter how much they love these people, no matter how much they know these people, they can't do it. We are the ones who are given the keys to this prison. We are the only ones that can carry this message. It is an awesome responsibility. And yeah, it leaves me feeling really guilty sometimes because I know what a lazy scumbag I can be. Yesterday, today, I stepped up. Today, I feel good. It's a daily reprieve. That's the beauty of this. What you did yesterday does not matter, no matter how good or how bad. What you do today is all that counts. Here, now, is all we have. And it's 9:30, and that's all I have. Thank you very much.
Absolutely, absolutely epic. Thank you, sir. One more time. Thank Tim for coming out here. Customary for us to form a line, take some time. He's going to do a 10-hour complete turnaround, 5 hours down and 5 back to be with us. So it's very important that we form a line and thank him for coming down. And, he does it for free, takes it out of his own time. And what else we got to do? Next week, who we got? Doug P. out of Netcong, New Jersey. See us then. We got a nice way of closing. If you care to join us, let's circle up.